This lesson for Year 1 and 2 focuses on hand-eye coordination, ball control, finding space, teamwork and anticipation through a fun game. The aim is to develop object manipulation, skills like bouncing and catching, as well as agility when changing direction and quick thinking. The lesson builds on previous work in throwing and catching and adds strategy development through team play. The class is around 45 minutes long with 24 students, including one in a wheelchair whose partner will sit in a chair for inclusion. We will begin with a warm-up game, a bounce and catch relay in groups of 4 to 5. Students will take turns bouncing the ball to their partners 5 meters away. This will prepare them for the main activity, 2 square bounce, which involves that ball manipulation mirroring the warm-up, teamwork and space finding skills. This was also chosen as it allows me as the teacher to understand the skills of the class and whether or not if the activity may be too difficult or too easy to allow me to make some modifications if necessary. The warm-up helps assess students' abilities and inform any necessary adjustments. The lesson will end with a cool down involving stretches and a ball activity, further tying in object manipulation. This is followed by reflection questions on how the students use strategies in the game. Now I will begin the explicit teaching of the physical activity resource. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Boys and girls, I hope we are all very excited for today's PE lesson. The activity for today's lesson is 2 square bounce, which is a net and court game where you all get in pairs and play against each other. The aim of the game is to catch the ball after one single bounce in your square, which is thrown from your partner. So before we actually begin the activity, we need to practice our skills that the game involves, which is both throwing the ball and catching the ball. So we are all going to stand up in groups of 4 to 5, which I'm going to number you off in, and we are going to do the warm-up game. Bounce, catch, relay. If you are group number 1, can you please come over to this cone here? If you're group number 2, come over to this green cone. Once you have all had 2 turns, I want you to put your hands on your head and sit on the floor. Now that we are all warm from the warm-up activity, it is now time for us game 2 square bounce. 2 square bounce focuses on throwing, bouncing and catching a ball, which you would have all practiced in your other PE lessons, at home, during your favorite ball games or your favorite sports. Who's played tennis before? Put your hand up. Amazing. So you may have played this game during your tennis lessons. What I am looking for today is ball control. So I'm going to be watching who can throw the ball with enough power to their partner, who can catch the ball, who can move around and change direction, who can find space, and who can apply some tricky strategies to get a point. I need 2 confident volunteers to come up and help me demonstrate the activity. This is your 2 square area. It's very similar to a mini tennis game without the net. The aim of 2 square bounce is to bounce the ball into your partner's square. Your partner has to catch the ball after 1 bounce. How many bounces? 1. Then bounce it back to you in your square and you need to wait until it bounces. How many bounces? Amazing. Now let's see our 2 volunteers demonstrate. See how student 1 threw the ball a little bit with too much force, which meant that the ball actually didn't bounce inside the square. So we need to make sure that we throw the ball with just the right amount of force so that it bounces in the square. We see our student 2 let the ball bounce twice in their square. That means that student 1 actually got a point. So we need to make sure we catch it after 1 bounce. If it bounces more than once, then our other partner gets a point. Can we all give me a massive thumbs up if we understand? If we are a bit confused, don't understand at all? All understand? Amazing. Okay, now can everyone please get into their pairs? If you don't have a pair, that's okay. Come up to me, come see me, and we can sort that out. Once you get your pair, I want you to put your hands on your heads and sit down with your pair. Let's find our marked off cone spaces, which I have put out all for you on the court today, and you can start. Remember, when I blow the whistle 2 times, You need to put your hands on your head and sit down and wait for the instructions. Oh, very good, student 1. And I can see that you've catched that after 1 bounce. I can see that you threw the ball at the end of the square, which makes it very tricky for student 2 to catch the ball. That's very smart, applying strategies here. 1, 2, 3, eyes on me. Okay, thank you, boys and girls. Okay, thank you, boys and girls, for all stopping where you are. Before we go back to the classroom, we're just going to do a quick cool down activity and answer a few reflection questions on the game that we played today. So the first question I want you to reflect on is, where was the best place to bounce the ball? Ones you can answer first. Remember, we're just rolling the ball as we answer the questions. Who would like to share their ideas? Hands up. Yeah. Student 1? Yes. So if our partner was closer to the square, then you might throw it further away. But if they were standing further back, then you might throw it closer. Good job. Amazing. Okay, boys and girls, we are going to make sure we grab our water bottles. We're going to stand up and put the balls away in the basket, and we're going to head back up to the classroom.